my point is that my mother was born in 1951. She desegregated schools. My father was shot in the civil rights movement. Those people.
Let him finish.
I'm going to finish because you're being utterly disrespectful.
Not at all.
So I'm going to finish this comment. So what I'm telling you is that there are people in this country who fought, died, and bled for the right to vote. Don't be a dick. Just.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Today we'll be talking about this situation happening in Alabama. Alabama is taking another step towards Jim Crow. They're eliminating another majority black district in that state, and it's very concerning. So we're going to take a look at that. And yeah, please bear with me. I'm feeling a little under the weather today, but yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it.
A battle over redistricting that is playing out at the Supreme Court as Republicans and Democrats try to gain an edge in November's midterm elections. Today, the court's conservative majority cleared the way for Alabama to use a new congressional map that would eliminate a district currently held by a black Democrat. The Supreme Court offered no explanation in its order, which tosses out a lower court decision that blocked.
Yeah, they don't have to have an explanation at this point, since the Supreme Court is pretty much backing the entire Republican Party.
Blocked the use of that 2023 map. There's already voting underway in that state. They are planning to toss out that map, go with a new map that favors Republicans, eliminates a district. And then you have the President Trump, sending a message to South Carolina, your home state, Bakari, saying the South Carolina State Senate has a big vote tomorrow on redistricting. He says, Republicans, be bold and courageous, just like the Republicans of the great state of Tennessee were last week. Move the U.S. House primaries to August. Leave the rest on the same schedule. Everything will be fine. Get it done. So
I want to take a step back.
That's wild for a sitting president to be leading the entire Republican Party in gerrymandering, but for the president of the United States to be bossing these lower level states around and telling them what to do, and they're actually doing it, is concerning when we know that there is supposed to be some type of, wall there. That's the way the founders intended, right?
Look at this from a 50,000 foot view, to be completely honest. I think Ashley and I have to wrestle with the fact that we are going to be the first generation to actually leave this country worse than the one that we inherited. There is a casual laughter from people we believe to be our friends on the right who are showing us true colors today, because the most sacred, or one of the most sacred acts you have in the United States of America is the ability to cast a ballot and elect someone and send them to Congress, the State House, or a mayoral seat that represents your interest. And now black folks throughout the South are being silenced. And I don't find that to be a laughing matter.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that the black vote is so important and so scary to all these people down here in the South, where they wouldn't be trying so hard and moving so fast to get rid of it. It's clear what they're trying to do here. I mean, it's clear as day. It's obvious that these people are scared of the black vote down here. We still make up a good percentage of the population in several different locations. And if we can actually get out like 90% of our population voting, that would be game changing.
I heard you say that people are losing representation. People are losing their voice. No voter has lost. Every voter in America, white, black, or otherwise, can go cast a ballot right now. The lines may be changing, but every voter still has the same amount of voting power, one vote, that they had. It's just that this Supreme Court said your race doesn't necessarily have to dictate your political identity. The fact that you're an American citizen and your franchise gives you one vote, that is your political identity. And
He's making a completely different argument. What we're saying is that the person that you choose to vote for is going to change. And in that dynamic of that district, that newly drawn district is no longer going to be the community that you're used to being in. It's going to be a community halfway across the state.
It is incumbent upon both parties, Republicans and Democrats, to run people who speak not to just one constituency, but all American interests. To me, that's how the November election should be run.
Please.
Go ahead, Ash.
I might agree with you if they hadn't said something different 3 years ago. We aren't talking about in Alabama a district that existed when my grandmother was alive. We're talking about a district that was drawn in 2023 because there are injustices that are still being placed. We're talking about Memphis, where we're not like, it's not just one person across the street. They split a whole city into three to make black voters have less power in House maps. The Voting Rights Act, which actually was the last time it actually was reauthorized, was under your boss, George W. Bush. It used to be a bipartisan thing. It used to be clear that the backdrop of this country, there is discrimination now. There was pervasive discrimination when the law was signed into law during the Civil Rights Movement. We can all go into our partisan corners, but to act like what is happening right now is not a direct attack on Black voters' power, Black voters' ability to represent themselves. Now, we had this conversation yesterday, Scott. Black voters are allowed to elect whoever they want. And in 2024, they did. They elected a Black Democrat in that new district in Alabama. That Black Democrat went through a primary of 13 people, and Black voters found the agency to come and decide how that primary now will be erased. And put a Black Republican up in that district if you want Black voters to have a choice. But they're not. That's not what's happening. It is a dissemination.
They're not going to do that. I mean, they would rather just redraw the whole district instead of trying to bring up a decent challenge in that district, because they know that they're not going to win. They don't have any policy to win off of. They don't have any plan to win off of. And they are not going to for the next couple of years at least. I don't get it. I really don't get this Republican Party and how they refuse to see some of the actions for what they really are. Like, let's be real here, guys. Like, honestly, like, we know that all throughout the South, especially in the South, this little gerrymandering situation, these are targeting Black communities. Like, how are we not seeing this? Like, I don't know, man.
Of distribution of Black power, and to call it anything other than that, I just think is being historically ignoring the past of our country and pretending like we're not trying to drive our country to a different type of future.
One of the interesting things about Tennessee that we should also keep in mind is that Tennessee district that they did away with existed prior to the Voting Rights Act. So Memphis as a city has been a district even before they were trying to rectify racial discrimination with the Voting Rights Act. So, you know, we're going to start to see, maybe Virginia might try again and create that. Maybe they might try to create an 11-0 map, because now, according to the Supreme Court, you can. We might live in a country where all around the country, we have states where the minority political party has effectively zero representation in Congress.
I think everybody should take confidence in the fact Supreme Court basically supported one vote, one person, guaranteed in perpetuity. And the rest is just
It was that way before the Supreme Court made their decision.
map wars. And I think we should get used to it. And I think it's, as you said, a state-based situation. Add this to the mix. At the end of the day, the state decides at the state level. It's in the Constitution. Get over it.
So the problem with that sentiment is that you were born in 1954.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
Very popular
You're
that
71.
Yeah.
Right. In 1954,
By the way, I'm a vampire.
Brown v. Board of Education. I don't know how you remember it. I think you were like 2 months old. But I'm not finished yet. Let me finish my thought.
Drill back to 54.
Yeah, because you're still alive, right? And so there's an entire generation of people. Brown v. Board, it overturned Plessy v. Ferguson of 1896. My point is that my mother was born in 1951. She desegregated schools. My father was shot in the Civil Rights Movement. Those people.
Let him finish.
I'm going to finish because you're being utterly disrespectful.
Not at all.
So I'm going to finish this comment. So what I'm telling you is that there are people in this country who fought, died, and bled for the right to vote. Don't be a dick. Just understand.
Okay. Bakari,
please.
I'm not
understand.
a dick. I'm pointing something out to you. The
Guys,
Constitution is being upheld. Do you have a problem with that? Do you have a problem with the Constitution?
The Constitution was being upheld previously. Please explain how it wasn't. Go into detail. Please, anybody in the comments, go into detail. How it wasn't upheld previously.
Bakari, I'm gonna stop you because I just want everybody to reset with a modicum of respect at this table. Please stop.
I want you to understand that there is a price. There's a price that was paid for this right. There is a price that we uphold, and whether or not you value that, whether or not you value that or not, there are people who bled, sweat, and died, and were imprisoned for access to the ballot box. And what we're seeing throughout the South is that their voice, their vote, their representation, and people who have lived experiences to represent them are not being sent to Congress or where they need to go.
Well, this debate, by the way, is
facts, and this is all about the Black community's option of picking a candidate of their choosing. if you're gonna break up a community, if you're gonna split a community off via gerrymandering or via redistricting, you're going to have to acknowledge that you're trying to split this black community off because they don't vote the way that you want them to. Like, you're gonna have to be honest with that. Like, the history books, the numbers are not lying. Like, you can talk and say whatever you want to. You can have talking points. You can tell the people whatever you think they might believe, but your actions are saying different. Like,
happening among the justices. If you look at the Louisiana decision, the conservatives are saying we've made great progress. It's time to let go of this, of using racial discrimination.
And that's why I utilize the description of.
And the liberal justices say exactly what you just said, Bakari, which is there's a history here that we're overlooking.
But Ellie,
Yeah.
I mean, the 3 years have passed since 2023
Yeah.
and 2026.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, the country has made that much progress in
And
3 years.
that's the criticism of the majority. Look, there's a famous quote by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? When the Voting Rights Act came. What's that?
Who should have retired?
When the Voting Rights Act came up, when she was on the bench, she said, the conservatives said, well, we've made great progress, so we don't need this anymore. She said, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, that's like getting rid of your umbrella in a rainstorm because you're not getting wet.
Yes.
And the question is it still raining? Is it drizzling? Is it clear? People differ strongly on that.
And guess what? It can be clear one day and rain the next. And so that's the inconsistency.
And the crazy part is, go ahead.
I just want to point out the one person, one vote. I think, Bakari, us millennials will have to wrestle with how we're going to leave this earth, and I'm determined to leave it better than I found it. And I think that this decision is actually going to open a rush to reevaluate a lot of things, like you say, are in the Constitution. Because right now you have a hat on that says Utah, and they have more representation in the Senate than the people actually in Alabama have
I
in
got
the
a
Senate.
situation in Utah going on.
I know that's not why you have the hat on.
No, I have
but
it on.
You have it on, and so there are states right
I'm
now that have
supporting
two
the people of
senators.
Utah.
When we're sitting in a state right now that has more population than Utah multiplied by 10, and so if we
You
really
don't like
want to
Utah?
talk about,
I love Utah.
I'm talking about all the states that have smaller populations. If we really want to talk about one person, one vote, and if we really want to go down a path to see what real franchise mean, you might have just opened a discussion that this country should be is timely to actually have.
I mean, she ain't lying at all. But yeah, I just wanted to share that video with y'all, and I hope y'all enjoyed. And yeah, see y'all next time.